Dude, Spirit Guardians is a bonkers spell. And I would go even as far as to say it's slept on. Now I know half of you just were like, no, it's not. No one sleeps on Spirit Guardians. Everyone knows that it's a fantastic spell, probably the best on the Cleric spell list. What do you mean people are sleeping on it? Well, here's what I mean. Despite people knowing it's the best of the Cleric spells, they're not really understanding the full capabilities of this spell. So I kind of want to do a public service announcement to say, hey, you might be casting Spirit Guardians, but you can probably get more out of it, or think about it in different ways at the very least. So what do we know? We know that its damage output increases by the amount of enemies who want to get close to us or that we put close to us. So it's a multiplicative damaging spell. The more enemies, the more value you're getting out of it, which makes it ripe for upcasting. Sure, it's just a D8, but when that D8 is multiplied by 8 times per round, yeah, it starts getting really insane and it starts feeling like an excellent spell to upcast, among the best. But what we often forget is that Spirit Guardians also halves the enemy's movement speed while in the area. And this is not difficult terrain, so it can combine with difficult terrain. So you can take somebody from having 30-foot movement speed, and because it rounds down, you can make them have 5 feet of movement speed if you combine it with difficult terrain. That's absolutely insane, and it means they can't escape your Spirit Guardians, nor can they pressure you out of it. Pretty bonkers. But even without the difficult terrain combination, it still is going to make it really difficult for your enemies to push through you. Think about that. It's like you become a wall. Say that there's an assassin who wants to move through you to go stab your archer boy in the eyes. Well, now they can't because they don't have the movement speed to do it, and they're taking damage trying to accomplish it. This makes you extremely difficult to escape from. If somebody is trying to run away, Spirit Guardians basically makes it impossible. As long as you have it on, you can take the dash action, so you can move twice as fast, get right next to them, and they can't escape you once you get next to them. Lowering someone's movement speed in that way is really powerful, and it's powerful in multiple situations, chasing someone down or protecting your allies or just generally being a nuisance to all enemies. And what's incredible about it is it doesn't do that effect to any of your allies. That's the next thing people sleep on with Spirit Guardians. If you think about a spell like Darkness, which has powerful offensive potential, but it just ruins your team synergies, Spirit Guardians has just as high of offensive and defensive potential, but it doesn't influence your team negatively whatsoever. So you can put it right in the middle of your whole team, and that only helps them, never hinders them. That is incredible. But that's not all. It also weaponizes all forced movement your team may have. So if you have a big barbarian, all of a sudden, if he gets a grapple off, every turn he can move them in and out of your Spirit Guardians to proc that damage in extra time. This happens every single turn, meaning that if you have a team with a Swarmkeeper Ranger, a Barbarian, and something else that does forced movement, you can be proccing your Spirit Guardians over and over and over, turn in and turn out. Kind of interesting how it works, because you can't just walk towards them and do the damage, because people were abusing that. Basically, they'd get on a horse and they just run around the whole battlefield and do that damage to everyone. And so in order to combat that, it's no longer allowed for us to move into them to do damage. We have to move them to us. This includes your turn. So you can combine something into your build, for example, like a nature domain taking Thorn Whip ends up weaponizing and doubling our damage to that one target. It's such an incredible spell because on its own, it has a massive amount of utility. It's going to increase your damage output by crazy amounts. It's going to protect your team. It's going to do so many amazing things. It's going to make your enemy's life hell. But then you can specialize in it. Then you can do builds around it. Then your whole team can do builds around it and just take it from being incredible to being absolutely bonkers and the keystone of your team's strategy. That's badass. But did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down below if there's some Spirit Guardians synergies that I am not aware of. I'd love to hear it. And I want to give a special shout out to Sean Matson. Sean, thank you so much for the 2 months of support. You showing us that support means the world to me. Seriously. Thank you so much. But other than that, guys, hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll see you on the next one. See you. Love you. Bye.